Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. The soaring cost of basic goods and services leaves many Filipinos grappling with day-to-day survival. With measly pay and increases far in between, people are barely able to cope. Government's efforts to keep costs down appear to be doing little. So another measure was created to help those most in need. The Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program or AKAP, but the participation of politicians in the project has raised serious questions. Critics say AKAP is not just redundant as there are similar aid programs already being implemented. It also encourages patronage politics. Proponents, on the other hand, insist the need is urgent and they merely want to help. Let's get on point with Deputy Majority Leader and Tingog Party List Representative Jude Acidre, who joins us via Zoom, and Deputy Minority Leader and ACT Teachers Party List Representative Castro, who joins us here in the studio. Congresswoman Franz, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Bakasyon at nandito ka kasama namin. Thank you.
Yes, thank you rin sa pag-invite. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And to Congressman Acidre, magandang gabi po sa inyo. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to both already. Unahan ko na po kayo. All right, so I'm gonna start. Opo, Kong Acidre, I'll start with you, no? So let's give a little bit of background on AKAP. Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program. It had a budget of about 26.7 billion pesos in 2024. Ito pong taon na to, no? And I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, sir, that this is the brainchild of Speaker Martin Romualdez. Is this true, sir?
Yes, it was actually basically a result of our consultation and also a result of kasi nangyari po yan, we've always had these programs for the poorest in our community, di ba? Meron tayong 4Ps, meron tayong AICs for indigents. But it has come to our attention that a good number of what we call the near poor o yung mga lower middle class have no access to similar initiatives. And we find it that it would be more responsive to have safety nets for the near poor rather than to risk having them slide down back to poverty. Ito yung mga kumikita naman, meron namang trabaho, pero pag may sakuna, may nagkasakit, may problema, o di kaya katulad sa panahon ngayon, panahon ng inflation, mataas ang inflation, nag-slide back to below poverty or poverty lines. So I think it was a more of a proactive response in line also with making sure that we have a more inclusive approach to poverty reduction.
Opo. So ito po yung nasa parang taas ng 4Ps. Parang
yes
ganun
po.
po.
Yes
Okay.
po. It was designed to be like that po.
Opo. Sino ho ang makakatanggap nito, Congressman?
Well, it's
Who are eligible?
the nature of the program is very the beneficiaries are very straightforward with the name pa lang, Kapos sa Kita. So suppose it is intended for those who are employed or those who have a business or a source of income, but it falls below them either minimum wage or they're facing certain difficulties and challenges katulad ng sector na it proves na yung condition nila is ang income nila would not be responsive to their condition.
Let me clarify, sir, now before I go to Kong Castro. You said those who earn below minimum, tama ho ba? Because I thought it was for those who were earning 21,000 and below?
Yes, sa guidelines po yun.
So who are eligible, sir?
May guidelines po tayo sa DSWD. Based po 'yon sa of course the minimum wage and also the particular circumstances nung ng beneficiary.
It's good that mapag-usapan po natin who are eligible. Kong Franz, are you opposed to this? Itong AKAP po? Do you not think this is a good idea?
Well, una-una, due respect sa ating, sa ating kasamahan, si Kong Jude, kami sa Makabayan, hindi namin talaga alam ito. Kasi hindi ito napapag-usapan during the hearing ng budget, no, ng DSWD. Like for example, this 2024, parang tama ba, nabigla nga rin ng DSWD na merong ganitong programa at ginawa na lang nila ng guidelines. So, hindi naman kami opposed doon sa pag-aayuda o pagtulong sa ating mga kapos o katulad ng sinabi ni Kong Acidre, yung kapos ang kita.
Opo.
Actually, sa ibang mga bansa, may mga ganyang programa.
Opo.
Yung mga, alimbawa, yung mga nagtatrabaho lang ng 4 na araw sa isang linggo. So, yung isang araw, pinoprovide yun ng government. So, yun ang naisip namin na purpose ng AKAP.
So, okay kayo. Ang problema ho ba ay, in-insert ho ba ito? O wala kayong parte dito? Hindi kayo bahagi nito?
Well, hindi kami nakibahagi dyan this year. No? Hindi kami talaga, kasi hindi namin alam yung purpose nitong programa na ito.
Okay.
Kasi in-insert yan sa BICAM at nung 2024 at hindi malinaw sa amin yung guidelines.
Okay. Alright. Kong Jude, was it inserted?
Yeah, the introduction of the for the AKAP for this year was made at the bicameral conference as well.
Okay.
But of course, there were discussions prior to that. Maybe not through the formal process sa Kongreso, but the need has always been there. In fact, ako personally, on many occasions, I've talked about really helping the near poor.
I don't think really it's a question, sir.
Alam mo naman yung pag-widen ng middle class.
Opo. Sorry,
Yes,
I think may delay po tayo, no? I don't think it's really a question of helping because marami ho talagang nangangailangan. And in fact, if it's good to find out sino ho ba talaga ang eligible dito sa AKAP. Kasi iba ho yung tinatawag na minimum wage at iba ho yung tinatawag na livable wage, hindi ho ba? And from the research I've seen, Kong Jude, this is really also, this cushions inflation. Parang ito po ay ina-absorb yung nangyayaring inflation po taon-taon. So, while the purpose and the motivation is good, I'll still ask this question. Was this inserted in the BICAM?
Yes, the funding for the AKAP was inserted in the BICAM. That is true po.
Okay. Bakit ho hindi kaya nasama during the hearings with the DSWD when this was being discussed? At least the budget of the DSWD, sir. Was this late? Was it thought of
Well,
late?
even before the, I wasn't part of the BICAM at that year, last year, no. But at least on my personal knowledge, I can attest that even prior to that, we've already had talks with the SWD with the introduction of a mechanism to help the near poor. I think it was because the idea was introduced late. Yun yung hindi ko na alam yung details, no. Pero yung usapin tungkol sa pag-introduce ng isang mechanismo to help the near poor has been there. I think by the time that Secretary Rex assumed office.
Okay. Kong Franz, because nandyan din po siya, hindi ho ba, sa 2025 budget, is this next year, is this something you would like to avail of? And because the question here is, paano ho ba nasama ang Kongreso dito?
Yes, ito na naman, na-insert na naman ito. Diba, in-insert na ng 2024 budget. Sana nag-correct naman ang siguro sa Kongreso mismo, nag-correct. Dapat in-introduce din ito during the discussion, 'di ba, para malinaw yung guidelines. Kasi baka magiging nakikita nga namin doon sa guidelines ng AKAP, parang redundant ito doon sa AIX. Kasi nagbibigay na tayo ng ayuda para doon sa mga emergency situation.
Yung pong AIX.
Like yung medical, like yung sa educational, burial, etc. Pero itong AKAP, kung titignan ko lang yung pangalan at tulong sa mga kapos ang kita. So, I'm assuming na pantulong ito doon sa mga below or lower middle class, no, na pantulong doon sa kanilang kita, kapos sa kita. Pero parang nagiging one time, big time lang ito na ipinamimigay. During the implementation, nakikita namin. So wala tayong problema doon, pero kailangan lang maging defined, maging specific.
Dahil
Sino talaga yung
nagiging
tutulungan.
redundant.
Nagiging
Okay.
redundant siya.
I think it's good to also, I hope Kong Jude can help us later, no, after we go on a break. I really want to find out, even I'm sure the people here want to know, who are eligible dito sa AKAP. We're gonna pause for a short break. We'll have more of our discussion with Representatives Jude, Acidre, and Castro. Please stay tuned. This is On Point.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Orata, and you're watching Basis Points, where we dive deep into the numbers and the stories that drive our economy and shape our world. The Securities and Exchange Commission gets tough on delinquents. 81 billion pesos in smuggled goods seized.
Cash remittances reached nearly $3.1 billion, up 2.7% year on year.
We were able to breach already our year-end target of 200 billion.
This is a new golden age for Bitcoin.
And that's it for Basis Points.
Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Rain Musngi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The crypto market climbed over $800 billion. Tech giant Alibaba has announced plans to issue notes. Investors are anticipating a significant downward move for the cryptocurrency. Swift is adding a new chapter to her record-breaking year.
Follow the Money, 10:30 a.m.
Keep it here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. Always on top.
The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront.
Is still continuing with hearings on the EJ.
But
We can recommend the filing of cases with the proper offices or agencies.
It is always victimizing the poor, so we will continue to go against corruption in the budget.
At the Forefront with attorney Karen Jimeno, 8 a.m.
Good morning, I'm Paulo de Rosario, and welcome to Weather HQ. Today's headlines.
The world's largest solar battery storage facility project is underway here in the country.
The enactment of the Ligtas Pinoy Centers Act is expected to provide safer space, and the deadline for the mandatory evacuation of residents in Mount Canlaon's permanent danger zone has lapsed.
18,475 persons have already been evacuated.
Whatever the weather, only here on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel.
This is the Scorecard,
where you score the latest sports news
and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas.
I'm Erica Christensen.
Get ready. Be prepared. Get to the latest stories, updates, and reports about what's happening in the world of sports. Hosted by Anton Rojas, Erica Christensen.
Where sports is our business and business is our sport.
The Scorecard, 9:30 p.m. on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel.
Good morning, I'm Ferdy Salvador.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Orata, and welcome to Industry Beacon, where we shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors, and the industry leaders shaping our future.
And in each episode, we explore how they're staying ahead in their fields, one industry at a time.
Can bring luxury products, and that the Filipino nurses and the malasakit is really what makes us really good.
Compared to other industries like oil and gas, you can never compete salary-wise.
Industry Beacon on BNC, the Billionaire News Channel. Your newest source of news and information.
That's it?
Follows you everywhere, every day.
Wow.
Oh, man.
On cable and free TV. Online.
He joins us from the Batasang Komersyal.
On mobile.
Simulan na natin ang agenda.
This is BNC, and we are everywhere.
Welcome back. You're watching On Point. Still with us, Representatives Jude, Acidre, and Castro. Kong Jude, do you know who's eligible dito po sa AKAP?
Well, based on the guidelines, if qualify talaga sa AKAP, you have to fall under what we call the low-income category. So, it should not exist the statutory minimum wage in the area where you are, where the individual is residing. So, para po mapatunayan po ito, kailangan po may mga documents na pinapakita para hindi ho siya nag-overlap doon naman sa beneficiaries ng iba nating social amelioration program.
Kong Jude, sorry, no? Could you repeat that? Tagalogin po natin. Kung kayo ay tumatanggap ng above
Yung
minimum
wage, yung minimum wage sa lugar po kasi 'di ba iba-iba na ang minimum wage natin sa buong bansa, every region. So your income should not exceed the statutory minimum wage po sa lugar na 'yon.
Nakakalito ho kasing statutory minimum wage. Okay.
Minimum wage na lang.
Minimum wage. Individuals whose income do not exceed the minimum wage. Ganun na lang, no? And, okay. So, how do you become eligible? Yun ang tanong ko, Kong Jude, Kong Franz. Kailangan ho ba silang dumaan kay Congressman Jude, kay Congresswoman Franz, kay Mayor ganito, bago po makatanggap nito?
Sa totoo po, hindi.
Kong Jude, go ahead. Sige, kayo po.
Sorry. Sa totoo po, Miss Pinky, hindi ho. Pwede ho silang dumirekta sa DSWD para po sa mga pangangailangan nila under the AKAP program.
The question is, pwede o saan ho ba talaga?
Sa DSWD, pwede.
Sa DSWD. Because
Pwede sila dumiretso.
I read something about a GL, yung pong guarantee letter. May ganun po eh.
Iba po yun. Iba po yun. Iba pong programa yun.
Okay. All right. Kong Franz?
Yung guarantee letter sa mga medical assistance na binibigay, ini-endorse ng kongresista sa DOH. So, yun yung guarantee letter. So, etong, sa experience ko, halimbawa yung AIX, pag may mga nangailangan, so ini-endorse din ini-endorse namin sa magkakaroon ng payout. So, depende doon sa evaluation ng DSWD. Tapos, pag tupad naman, so unfortunately, dole ito, pero kami rin yung
I see. Kayo din ang
so,
nag-GL.
Hindi siya GL. Parang, ako sa experience ko, ini-endorse ko to sa barangay. So, ang barangay ang pumipili kung sino yung may pangangailangan doon sa AIX. So, ganun yung ginagawa natin. Etong AKAP, wala akong experience kasi hindi namin in-avail ito. Pero kung ang concept nito ay para doon sa kapos ang kita, hindi naman kami oppose dito. Kasi marami talaga tayo mga kababayan na kahit na naka-minimum wage siya, ay considered na kapos na kapos at hindi kaya yung
but that's
sweldo.
it. Ilan ho bang milyong Pilipino ang kapos ang kita?
Yes,
So, Kong Jude, this year, I think this was able to cover, this 26.7 billion was able to cover about 4 million Filipinos. Would that be accurate, sir?
More or less, yes po.
So, asan ho yung database that says 4 million people are eligible or deserve to have or be part of AKAP? San ho yung data na yan?
There is data from DSWD. Kasi sa DSWD, meron silang data with the listahanan. And yun po yung mga below, talaga yung mga below minimum wage, yung unemployed, ganun po. Pero meron po yan silang data rin dun sa near poor. I'm sure hindi pa ho ganun kakompleto, but at least basis of qualification, that particular segment has been identified.
So we're not sure about the database. Basically, what you're saying is coming from the DSWD. Here's a question, Kong Jude. Kayo ba, can you endorse a person who you think is deserving of AKAP to the DSWD?
We can refer individuals, who we in our judgment, but they are subject to the same scrutiny, same guidelines of the SWD. In fact, nangyayari po yun, Miss Pinky, minsan sa 10 ni-refer mo, meron niyang 3, 4 na hindi rin nagko-qualify eventually.
Apo.
Kasi una, kung pasok ka na sa listahanan, pasok ka sa 4Ps, hindi ka magko-qualify. O di kaya kung nakita namang mataas ang kita mo, hindi ka rin magko-qualify.
Apo.
Hindi ka employed o wala kang hanap buhay, hindi ka rin magko-qualify.
Yeah. I guess, and I hope you don't mind because you're both lawmakers, sometimes I question why we always have to go through, or they have to go through, a lawmaker to get medical assistance, to get AKAP, to get any other form of ayuda. Kong Franz, kayo po, what do you think of that?
Well, kami sa Makabayan, ayaw sana namin ng parang nag-endorse, no? Kasi nagiging political patronage yun eh. wala namang utang na loob ang mga mamamayan sa mga politiko na mabibigay ng tulong na pondo rin naman ito ng gobyerno. So,
But frankly, you do it, right?
yes, oo. Alam mo sa medical kasi sa GL, pag may teacher, kapag merong mga constituents, may mga walk-in, ini-endorse talaga namin yan sa DOH. Otherwise, hindi kasi nakakadiretso. So, ang gusto sana natin, itong mga ganitong pondo ay mapondohan na rin, yung mga hospital natin, like yung PhilHealth,
Right.
kung i-subsidy para sa mga indigent or sa mga vulnerable, ay ilagay na lang doon sa mga DOH hospitals para diretso.
Kasi the thing that I'm seeing here, Kong Jude, is dun sa 4 million na natulungan this year, I feel, I'll admit I don't have the numbers, but there would probably be more than 4 million na gustong maging parte or could be eligible po ng AKAP. And yet, there are only 4 million who are covered. Hence, something is wrong with the system. Either we obviously do not have enough funds, or some people are playing favoritism because this 4 million ay makakakuha pa paano yung, let's say, 500,000 na nangangailangan din. How could that be resolved, Sir Kong Jude?
3 points naman, Pinky. Una, I think the limitation is really with the funding. I'm sure the SWD and our partners would have wanted to extend the program to even more Filipinos, but we're limited by that. That's the first limitation. Second, it's only the first year of implementation. There will always be challenges in the implementation. There will be a need for a stronger database. Yes, that's going to be a challenge. The third is, I just want to correct the impression that it's really the lawmakers who implement the program. No, it's still guided by the guidelines set by the SWD, and we're subject to the same qualifications, the same criteria set by the SWD. Ako personally, I could see na meron namang dumidiretso sa DSWD, dumidiretso sa mga local social welfare officers nila. Yun nga lang, nangyayari din po na nilalapitan po kami. Yung lumalapit sa amin, nire-refer din namin sa mga agencies.
Yeah.
For example, yung Tingog, ganun din kami, may lumalapit sa amin, kailangan. I really would have wanted for more durable solutions. I would agree definitely sa sinabi ni Kong Franz that more durable, more long-term solutions should be put in place. But you see, there are needs that are immediate. In this case, these are the needs that we're trying to address with the AKAP. This is definitely a stopgap solution. And point na lang siguro, Ma'am Pinky, I think our voters are critical enough to see na when it is money from the government, that is not the money of us politicians. Hindi ho pera namin yan. Pera po yan ng taong bayan. Ang trabaho lang ho namin, and this is something I myself always repeat with every payout, ang trabaho lang namin is magtulay. Kasi alam naman natin, napakarami ding programa ng gobyerno, pero kung hindi po napapaalam sa ating mga kababayan, ay hindi rin sila nakakalapit at hindi rin nila nagagamit itong mga programa.
Well, you're right, Kong Jude and Kong Franz. No? That is, of course, the people's money. It's the government money. At the end of the day, yun pong politiko, yung pasasalamatan din po yung tao. And well, hindi po natin matatanggal yun dahil kayo yung representative nung tao. Ito na lang po tanong ko, meron na ho bang mga payouts? During payouts, andun ho ba mga politiko?
May mga payouts na nandun po yung mga politiko, nandun po ako. Minsan may payout na nandun po ako. May mga payout din po na wala. Ang reason po bakit ako nag-a-attend sa mga payout minsan, kasi nagkakaroon ho ng pagkakataon. Parang report card namin yan, ma'am. Diba, nasa kongreso po kami po yung nagpapasa ng budget. Pupunta din po kami kung saan ginagamit yung project para ipaalam po yung ginagamit yung budget, para paalam po sa aming mga constituent na ito po yung report card ng ginawa po namin. Kasi we would have wanted even a higher level of political engagement other than this. But unfortunately, this is the situation where we are. So I aspire for something even mas malalim na pag-ugnayan, pero kung gutom ang constituent mo, kung merong problema sa pangkalusugan, syempre kapartibo doon bilang kinatawan ang maghanap ng paraan para sila matulungan.
What about you, Kong Franz?
Hindi. Hindi ako pupunta sa mga payout. So, pinapabayaan namin yung DSWD, yung DOLE na magbigay doon sa tao. Pero pinapa-explain ko doon sa aking staff saan nanggaling yung pondo na yon. So, ako personally, ayoko kasing makulayan ng political patronage or yung politika, yung mga ayuda. In fact, hindi ko rin kilala yung mga ini-endorse din ng mga barangay. Yung barangay, no? Hindi ko rin kilala yung mga tao. Na basta sinasabi ko lang, ito yung guidelines, ito yung dapat na makatanggap. So sila na yung bahala.
How do you actually fix a system like this, Kong Jude and Kong Franz, no? Na sabihin natin kayo po, hindi kayo nagpapakita. Si Kong Jude, sabi niya, sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not there. How can you actually fix this system while it may be helpful, thoughtful, and maybe right, no? Na hindi po lumalabas na namomolitika ang mga congressman dahil dito. I'll start with Congressman Jude Acidre, sir. Go ahead.
I would agree, Ms. Pinky, that we should strictly enforce the guidelines. I think we have a well-thought set of guidelines na dapat hindi talaga determined by political intervention. That is, there is open access. At kung meron mang role ang mga politiko is simply to inform the constituents that this is part of the efforts they've done in allocating funds, part of their legislative duties. Pero the implementation of the program should remain with the SWD. And I think, moving forward, no, this should be strictly implemented. Kasi sa totoo lang, yun na, inuulit ko talaga yan, hindi ho pera ng mga congressman to. At malaking bagay na maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan na ito pa'y galing sa kanila. At wala hong utang na loob na kailangan pag-usapan.
Dapat ho ata, Kong Jude, ang ipaalam nyo na kayo nag-isip nito. Tama, no? Kayo naman ho nag-isip nito. Congress thought of this. But during the payouts, it's really supposed to be whoever department should be doing this. Because talagang nalalagyan po ng politika. Kung kahit na po sabihin nating maganda yung hangarin nito. Alright. Legislation. Sabihin po natin, i-legislate po ito, Kong Franz.
Yes,
Would you agree?
So tingin ko mas maganda kasi yung 4Ps ay nilegislate pero hindi rin namin gusto itong legislation ng 4Ps dahil nga parang pinamanatili natin na may ganyan talagang mga sektor ng ating mga mamamayan. Pero legislation, okay ako diyan, no? Kung i-legislate itong AKAP, no, na magiging easily available siya sa mga minimum wage earner na kinakapos sa certain period of time, pwedeng gawin yon na yung pwede nang i-legislate, no, yung para makita natin yung pagkakaiba-iba noong pwedeng ma-avail ng mga tao at saka yung katulad ng AIX.
Para hindi nalilito, no?
Hindi nalilito for emergency situation yan, burial, educational, medical din na konti. Pero itong AKAP strictly for the workers. No, para makatulong.
Parang extra 5,000 para sa inyo.
Yes, extra 5,000 doon sa mga kulang at kapos talaga ng hindi lang sa mga workers, sa mga farm workers, yung ating mga magsasaka, matulungan din itong AKAP.
Right.
Fishermen.
Si Kong Jude, legislation. I think hindi ho ba plano din to ni Congresswoman Luistro gawin?
Yes, there was a bill already filed by Congresswoman Luistro with the institutionalization ng AKAP. At isang maganda, dadagdagan ko lang yung sinabi ni Kong Franz. Total, agree naman ho ako sa lahat ng sinabi niya. Ang sa akin lang ho, maybe it's also good to look at the AKAP not only as a social amelioration intervention, kundi makita din to paano to nakakatulong sa kabuuan ng ating ekonomiya. Sa totoo lang ho, kung ako tatanungin nyo, ang pananaw ko po dito, sa lahat po ng social amelioration program, lahat po ng Ayuda programs, ng ating gobyerno, pinakamalaki po at pinakamabilis ang ROI ng Estado dito po sa ating AKAP. Bakit po? Itong tinutulungan natin, nagtatrabaho na po ito. These are productive citizens. Ang kailangan lang po nila, konting tulong, konting dagdag para lang hindi sila nag-slide that easily. But if you look at it, kahit nga sa Thailand, meron sila ngayong cash transfer up to, for every Thai citizen 16 years old and above, meron nakakatagap ng 10,000 baht. That's a mechanism by which we can really accelerate the velocity of money within local communities. At hopefully, ang AKAP ma-tailored towards that end.
Yeah.
Instead of simpleng ayuda lang, it really becomes individualized economic stimulus.
Sana-
Ganun yung magandang pag-present ng AKAP.
Sana, Kong Jude, kung mangyari man yan, of course, there's a other side here na we don't have time to discuss, yung puro na lang daw tayo ayuda, meron din gano'n na usapan. Pero maganda din ho siguro itong AKAP dahil minimum wage and above, no? Earners naman to. Sana diretso na lang sa kanilang mga kung ano man, GCash, bangko, etc.
Or dole. Dole ang mag-implement kasi sa mga workers.
That's another thing I was thinking of. Why is it
Oo.
DSWD
Yes.
na ando na po sila sa AIC, si Tupad na sa Dole? Di ba ang Tupad? Ang MAIC, DOH. Opo.
Ang AIX, tsaka 4Ps doon sa
I think
DSWD.
Kong Jude, go ahead.
I think it's also because hindi lang yung employed yung kino-cover natin. Kasama din yung mga may either self-employed o di kaya yung may mga negosyo na maliliit, yung mga sidewalk vendor, yung mga, for example, yung mga toda, kasama po sila doon.
Dole.
Yeah, I think a more comprehensive set of individuals ang tina-target.
It would really be helpful and very efficient if we really
Pero
have a
agree po ako
database,
doon.
no?
Gcash na lang. Digital systems would be a welcome way, welcome intervention.
Okay, so let's see what happens. The president will sign the budget come Monday. Tingnan po natin. There's a budget of 26 billion ho ba for AKAP this, next year, no? So medyo mas konti compared to this year kasi 26.7.
21 for the House of Representatives.
Ayun.
And 5 billion for the Senate.
Yun na po yun. Okay, so let's see what happens. Kong Jude, Acidre, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. And I hope to see you, sir, in the studio. We want to talk about PhilHealth as well. Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to that.
And Congresswoman Franz Castro, always maraming salamat po sa inyo. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year po sa inyo.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
On Point. Join us again tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. here on BNC, the Billionario News Channel. I'm Pinky Webb. Thank you for watching.